What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down something that all wide receivers should try with their press releases. So I hope this video helps you guys out. I hope it can get you some more separation off the line and teach you some things that you guys can add to your tool belt to beat a press coverage DB who is patient. So again, like I said, hope this video helps out. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you need to improve your route running, and you want to improve your route running in only 2 weeks' time, check out that very first link in the description below where you can get access to a 40-minute long video with a 2-week long wide receiver on-field workout schedule. We break down every single drill with sets, reps, and give you a video example and a video explanation of each one. So if you guys want some more information on that, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get started with this video. So now, first things first here, this release we're looking at is from kind of that like fan-controlled football league, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's still man coverage, it's still press release, it's still football. And one of the things that you need to always do with your press releases against a patient DB is close the cushion with him. If you guys are not closing space, getting into his frame, he's going to be able to react to everything that we do. So let's watch this first release here from this wide receiver. So he operates very like lateral, a lot of quick movements and tight spaces, not really closing the distance, and just gets flat out lucky with the catch of the ball because the DB does a great job. Now, when we come off the line and you have a DB who's giving you some space, about 2 yards, you have to get into his frame. Now, this wide receiver is running a slant. I think initially his game plan, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm in his head because I don't know exactly what he's thinking, but what it looks like his initial game plan is to attack him, kind of square him up, give him a fake outside, and cross his face and run the slant. Now, if you've been keeping up with this page, you know what we teach. We teach that when this DB's inside shade like this, you want to attack his outside shoulder to get him to flip his hips and slip back underneath. Now, one of the things that this wide receiver still wouldn't have been able to do is that he wouldn't have gotten separation even if he attacked the outside shoulder because he did not close space with this DB. You still have to, on a slant where this quarterback is expecting you to be, he's expecting you to be here. So you could give all kinds of moves. You could maybe attack the outside shoulder of the DB, but if there's still this gap right here, you still have to get to here, and he has a better position to get to that spot where the ball's going to be thrown because you didn't close space. So off the line of scrimmage, fellas, you have to get into his frame. Think of it like you're trying to step on his toes, because when you're trying to step on his toes and make a move and not do all this movement laterally off the line, that is what forces him to have to commit to a direction. Because as a DB, again, I say this time and time again, DB is probably the second hardest position in all of sports. They're playing backwards, and they are guessing, and they never know exactly what we are going to do. They like to pretend like they do sometimes, but they never know exactly what I'm going to do. So when you just don't move and you just stay in one spot, you don't give any kind of movement vertically, you don't stretch the field vertically, you don't attack vertically, that DB is not going to move. You move lateral and you're just doing all kind of wasted movement with your upper half, DB's going to sit, and a patient DB will not bite. You have to get into his cushion and actually make your releases look like you're running in a different direction. So let's play this full speed, and then we're going to show a second example of this where the wide receiver actually closes space and the benefit that that can give you and get you some space. So now we got this DB who's off, like about 2 yards off, 3 yards off, right? And this receiver, Colin Johnson, out of Texas at the time, I think, and now he plays for the Jaguars, is going to be running this like curl route or this like sit hitch route. And against press, like it's very easy to, want to just run around the guy. You have a route that's downfield, so you just give him maybe a quick move and then just try to take off, beat him with speed. But when it's press coverage, when it's man coverage, you have to close the cushion, so we force that DB to have to open up and to react. So let's watch his feet off the line. So he closes space, does this triple step release, is able to go hip to hip with this DB and snap it off. The sole reason he's able to get this much separation is because of what he does off the line. So let's talk about it. So when I come off the line of scrimmage, and let's say Johnson comes off and he just does like a quick like little move right here. Like he keeps this much space between him and the DB, does a quick 1-2, and then tries to run off to the inside release. That gives that DB time to recover. Even if we get him to jump outside, we get him to jump inside. When there is a gap between the two of us, he has a better chance to get to here than we do. Because think about it, like let's say we have to get to this like 20 or whatever yard line this is. I think that's like the 40-yard line. Say we got to get to the 40-yard line. And I come off, or let me check, like the 20, right? Let's say I got to get to the 20-yard line. So if I got to get to the 20 and I make a move and there's this much of a gap, I still have to get to here. and he could still get there before I can because we didn't make him uncomfortable. We didn't threaten him. We didn't try to stretch him vertically. We didn't close distance. Fellas, closing distance off the line is super important. You never want to leave a gap between the DB and yourself because when you leave that gap, it's just more reaction time for him to make a play on this thing. So Johnson does a great job. Let's attack him. Let's get inside his frame. Let's give him a move. So when I push up to this route, we're pretty much even. We are what I like to call hip to hip when we push up on this thing. Because now this DB doesn't have the angle. Now he's not 2 yards ahead of me racing to a spot that's 3 yards ahead, which obviously he's going to have the upper hand. We are hip to hip and we are running to that spot. Now, again, this is where selling the route comes into play. This is where, okay, I got into his cushion. I got hip to hip with him, aka getting skinny. Now I can sell the route. Now I can run with a good pad level. I could run in full stride. I could run in full speed to get him to flip those hips open. And when I can snap down when he's right on my hip, not ahead of me by a couple yards, that is what gets me separation, and that is what can help me win on the route. Even if I'm maybe not the most explosive guy in and out of breaks, even if I'm not the fastest guy, you just being hip to hip with that DB makes it so dang difficult. Because when he has space to recover, he will use it. That's what DBs bank on. They bank on being patient, not committing to a direction, not moving off their platform. You have to get into that cushion and get hip to hip with the guy. Now, here's the other part that is that's almost even worse than not closing the space, is that wide receivers will get into the cushion of the DB. They'll make this move. They'll get him to jump, and they're in a position to go hip to hip, but they try to run around. They take a very wide angle. Now, this just comes from maybe lack of pad level, maybe lack of explosion coming off the release, but guys will make this move, and they don't stay tight. They don't get skinny. They don't get hip to hip. They'll push off of this foot and they try to avoid and go around, then go make their move. But when you guys try to avoid and go around a DB, you're just increasing the distance between the two of you guys. You want to get him to move, and you want to stay in a low, explosive pad level position and go hip to hip. Because you stay low because it's easier to make a tight change of direction while you're low, but also he's probably going to get hands. And when you're in an explosive position when he gets hands, you're not going to get jammed way off this route. So fellas, I cannot stress this enough. Against DBs who are maybe giving you some cushion, 2 to 3 yards off, let's close the space and let's stay tight on the route. Hip to hip with them, and let's proceed to the break point. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Johnson closing the space and staying tight, hip to hip with this DB to force him to open up his hips and not giving him that space to recover. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys as usual. And again, fellas, if you would like a 40-minute long video on how to improve your route running in 10 days with a 2-week-long training schedule for wide receivers, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.